The first generation of humans born in laboratories emerged between the years 1729 and 1742. Their existence began in vast underground nurseries illuminated by artificial suns, a pale imitation of the lost natural light. The temperature never changed. It remained constant, calculated to sustain their accelerated development. They were not allowed to experience creativity, as it was considered a risk to the stability of the program. When they reached the appropriate age, the humans were transported in columns through underground tunnels toward the surface. There, they saw the world for the first time, not as a gift, but as an order to be followed without question. Each group was assigned to a delimited territory, work zones, surrounded by invisible borders that emitted a subtle electric pulse if anyone attempted to cross them. These were the first manifestations of electromagnetic fences derived from the energy network of the invisible dome, ensuring that the new humans would not wander too far. The custodians disguised their control under the motto of education for the reorganization and repopulation of the world. Each human was given primitive tools and seeds, remnants of Tartarian genetic agriculture, modified to depend on artificial irrigation and chemical mixtures that the custodians themselves provided, far removed from the original creation. But in reality, this marked the beginning of a new phase of the human colony, a massive social experiment designed to measure obedience, reproduction, and adaptability in a post-reset world stripped of memory. Strictness was taken to its highest level. The objective was to extend this cycle for as long as possible and ensure that the past would be forgotten, so that another empire as powerful as the old one could never rise again. An empire that once possessed tools and technology from beyond the artificial ice walls brought by the ancestrals, the surviving humans, and the Anakim giants. There were no words for concepts such as memory, origin, eternity, or soul. These terms had been intentionally erased from the educational code. Among those first communities, there existed strange individuals whose pineal gland had not been completely atrophied. The custodians and the Anunnaki began to study them. They were still able to perceive beyond the limits imposed by the control frequency. Some claimed to hear voices coming from beyond the ice, or to see large luminous figures reflected in the artificial sky. Many of them mysteriously disappeared. Others were forced to work in the lower layers of the colonies, where energy was extracted and the water circuits were maintained. There, the first minds of the new humanity were born. Some of these individuals managed to escape toward the ancient Tartarian bases, hidden deep beneath the surface, answering a silent call. Over the decades, the surface humans became the first generation of the new humanity after 1728, creating a system in which they felt free, although none of them had ever known real freedom. Their children were the first to be officially recorded in the custodial archives as citizens of the Age of Enlightenment. Cities began to rise upon the ruins of Tartarian palaces. Roads were traced over the ancient telluric energy lines, and temples were transformed into centers of scientific study. The custodians watched from the shadows, pleased. Humanity had accepted its role as a working and obedient species. now convinced of its own insignificance. The simulated sky had a tangible effect on their everyday lives. Some humans, strangely moved by an unknown impulse, began to carve symbols upon stones, spirals, eyes, suns with concentric circles. The custodians believed it was primitive art, but in truth, it was the subconscious attempt of the human soul to remember its source. Thus began the second stage of the program, the era of controlled expansion. A time when humans believed they were exploring, creating, and discovering, while in reality every step, every thought, and every perception was carefully monitored under the invisible network of the invisible dome projector.